Welcome to the video. In this video, we're going to look at the Cubs' home opening series against the Padres. The Padres come in at an impressive undefeated 7-0, and if you look at this team OBP on-base percentage graph, you'll see the Padres are 4th in the MLB currently. The Cubs do sit on that top 10, they're in 8th. So two teams that have been getting on base a lot, and that's been one of the keys for the Padres' 7-0 start. They have also had 3 shutouts, so the pitching staff definitely a part of that as well. They've swept the Braves in a 4-game set, and then the Guardians in a 3-game set. All 7 of those games were in San Diego. Cubs, on the other hand, come in at 5-4, but come in off of a 3-0 sweep in Sacramento against the A's. They began with 0-2 start in Japan and then a 2-2 trip in Arizona that very easily could have been 3-1. So they come in hot as well and ready for the home opener. First, let's take a look here at the Padres hitters. Look at their xWOBA, expected weighted on base average so far this season. No surprise that the first name on the list, Fernando Tatis Jr., killing it so far. Jackson Merrill, probably their arguably second or third best player with Manny Machado there. And then we get to see Lockridge, a guy who hasn't played a whole lot but has some thump. Sheets, a guy that was on the White Sox last year. Definitely some thump in that lineup, but I would say it's more focused towards the top of that order. Luis Arraez, the main bat-to-ball guy, hasn't been all that great so far, but did hit a home run recently, his first home run of the year, so he may be starting to figure it out. Now, if we look at the Cubs over the last 7 days, xWOBA, so similar graph, but used last 7 days, so we are not including that Japan series. Carson Kelly killing it, had the cycle, and Kyle Tucker has been on fire as well. Seiya Suzuki, another guy who's been crushing it, multiple home runs over the last few games there. So hoping to see it continue, but not sure about it as we head into some cold weather games. Let's get into the pitching matchups here and break down the games a little bit. We'll start with the home opener, Friday, 1:20, Shota Imanaga against Randy Vasquez. We'll start with Vasquez here. His last game, or his only game so far this year, he didn't give up any runs, so ERA of 0.00, but 4 walks is the thing that kind of stands out to me and something I think the Cubs could exploit here. One of the reasons that I have the Cubs favored in this game is those walks. I think if they can get some guys on base, especially guys, Nico, PCA, guys that could steal a base, they can manufacture a run even if the weather's not all that great. Both of these guys, Vasquez and Imanaga, fly ball heavy guys, so interesting. Probably won't affect too much. Probably a good thing actually with the potential cold weather we'll see. But both of these guys have been good so far. The things I like about the Cubs in this one is that Vasquez can be a little wild and walk some guys, and he doesn't strike out a whole lot of guys. Only had 3 Ks in that game. Saturday, another 1:20 start. We'll get Matthew Boyd versus Nick Pivetta. We'll first take a look here at Nick Pivetta. Really good first start for him. 7 innings pitched, 4 Ks, no walks, and only 1 hit, no runs. Really, really impressive stuff. Game they shut out in that one. So I'd say he probably has a pitching edge over Boyd in this one. Matthew Boyd, 5 innings, 4 hits, but also no runs in that first game. So neither one of these guys have allowed a run yet. He did have 3 walks, 5 Ks, and really the fly ball was an important part of Matthew Boyd's game in that first start against the Diamondbacks. I have it as an even one going into this one, 50-50. It is really going to be a good game here in game 2. As we progress on to Sunday, Ben Brown versus Kyle Hart. We'll first look at Kyle Hart, the lefty. The only lefty the Cubs will see this series. 5 innings pitched in his last start. 2 home runs, 2 runs, 5 hits, and a lot of fly balls against Cleveland. Both of those home runs were to right-handed hitters, Austin Hedges and Jose Ramirez, batting from the right side. He's a guy who's given up some homers, but who knows if that's going to be a real case here with the weather. Hart is a very interesting guy. He comes over from the KBO last year where he played for the NC Dinos. He really doesn't have much big league experience. He pitched 11 innings in 2020 for the Red Sox, but that's it going into this year. So a guy with not a whole lot of big league experience, which it makes for an interesting matchup against Ben Brown. He has pitched in 2 games this series. He did come in one of the Japan games, but in his last start, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, and it's pretty even, 8 ground balls and 8 flyouts. So he's been a really intriguing guy to watch. He's got some of the best stuff on this entire staff. So this should be a good matchup here. And I do like the Cubs a little bit in this matchup, but the prediction goes the other way. I think more so just due to the runs given up by Ben Brown over a couple starts, and the ability to walk some guys and have some issues in that way too if it's a low scoring game. So this series starts off a very important month for the Cubs. And if you heard JD on the broadcast the other day, the toughest month of any team this whole season in terms of schedule. Very tough start. They're done with the Dodgers, Padres, and D-backs. Face them all twice this month, and then they do face the Phillies once too. So if they can get something going at home here to start, really get out of the month 500, that would be a positive start to the season, especially going into a weak May schedule. The keys for this series I have are to limit the walks. The reason for that is I expect some low-scoring games. You've seen the weather on these expected to be low 40s, maybe even high 30s, chance for some flurries on Sunday maybe. So limit the walks, anything. We don't want to give the Padres anything, and that's why I think it's going to be a key for our fielding as well, which we do have the advantage over the Padres in terms of fielding, base running, manufacturing some runs here. You always think of PCA, but like any guys that, steal a base, steal a run basically. And we're just looking for some contact. I think the big thing here is the Cubs don't face Dylan Cease or Michael King. They also don't face Yu Darvish or Joe Musgrove, who are on the IL. So facing some of the lower guys in that rotation should make the Cubs more able to put the balls in play and get some contact. The last one is the cold weather. It'll be the first series for either of these teams in cold weather. Padres 7-0, but all at home, and I definitely think they are not excited to be playing in Chicago in April, and I think the Cubs can use that to their advantage. If you made it to the end of the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you're thinking about going into this home opening series against the Padres. Go Cubs!